we are the DICE team. We are the digital learning team here at University College Birmingham. University College Birmingham has over 10,000 students at the moment, from level 1 through to 7. So that's from further education all the way through to undergraduate and then postgraduate study. And the DICE team, which is what myself and Gemma are part of, look after the digital learning provision. So across all courses in the schools here at University College Birmingham, all courses engage with digital learning. So it's our job as the DICE team, digital learning team, to support and develop content for those platforms. So specifically today, we're talking about what we've done for our dietetics program, which is looked after by Stephen.
So the MSc Dietetics pre-registration program sits in the School of Health, Life Sciences and Education. One of the 3 schools that we have in our higher education provision here at University College Birmingham, and has departments such as health and nutrition, healthcare apprenticeships, psychology, education, sport and social work and social care.
And I suppose in terms of looking ahead, DICE are here to, like I said, support and develop that digital learning provision. And we've got new courses coming online all of the time, with lots of demand for content that of the sort that we've won this award for. So it's definitely something that the vision is just keep doing what we're doing, but at a much bigger scale, so we can do it for all courses really.
Back in 2023, we started to consider developing an MSc Dietetics pre-registration program. I'm a dietitian by background, and felt that we wanted to create a program that had a different spin on the traditional curriculum and placement structure. One of the things we were really passionate about was including the service user in all aspects of our program, to support students to work with the populations that they will work with out in practice. Traditionally, case studies are an incredibly important part of all higher education study, but can sometimes feel quite flat, and especially within the healthcare setting. Students don't always find a connection with a case study that's written. So we were passionate about trying to really bring in the lived experience of an individual that the students would get to know over a period of time. Previously, I've never worked where we've had a team that could help with this creative vision. So we took the problem to our colleagues in DICE to say that we wanted something that spoke to students and could help them really understand who our service users were. And then I left them with that problem.
I have a background in documentary filmmaking, and it's myself as a learner, that's kind of what I respond to mostly. So when Stephen came to us with this sort of problem of how do we engage our students and do it in this new way, to give you a blunt answer, I kind of created it and designed it in a way that I would want to be taught it myself, which is kind of, I think, worked out quite well. Yeah. And yeah, it's I think the power of really bespoke video, particularly documentary, is so great that you really can get excellent results if you design and develop your documentary in a way which really speaks to a very specific audience. And that's kind of exactly what we've done here. Is Stephen's got a very specific cohort with their own challenges and their own opportunities, and so myself and Gemma just kind of, as you know, people that are very creative and know our stuff when it comes to production, kind of took that and rolled with it really. And I'm really chuffed with what we've come out with, to be honest.
It's exceeded my expectations, which is brilliant. So Adeena's case study sits within the MSc Dietetics pre-registration program. This is a level 7 master's pre-registration program, preparing students to work as an entry-level band 5 dietitian if in a clinical setting or in a community setting. The purpose of Adeena's case study is to drip feed information across the module where they learn their clinical nutrition skills. We've worked really closely with the senior lecturer Kathleen and lecturer Megan to tailor the case study throughout the module that runs over the year of their first year of programme. They're introduced to small bite-sized chunks of Adeena's story and then a set exam style questions and case study questions based on other aspects, including a mock consultation. The idea is that students can learn and practice those skills in a safe, secure environment. Simulation is really key to development and reflection on learning. Our courses are slightly blended with elements online through our Canvas site and with the resources that our colleagues in DICE create, face-to-face teaching, and out in practice, whether clinical or professional environments. The case study has been designed to meet the 4 pillars of AHP practice and dietetic practice, so students will learn and develop their skills in line with their Health and Care Professions Council accreditation and the British Dietetic Association accreditation. At the end of their course, they'll be able to apply to the Health and Care Professions Council to legally be registered as a registered dietitian.
In terms of how students access our materials, so in the case of Adeena's story with Stephen's cohort, it's via the VLE that we use here at UCB. Students will get access via a password protected link. Obviously, in this case, it's fairly sensitive material, so we need to be sensitive with all that data. But across the board and wider in terms of what DICE can produce, it kind of varies per course. Students all have access to our VLE here at University College Birmingham, which is primarily how they would access all of their digital learning materials. Project by project and case by case, the sort of platforms that they might use specifically can vary, but that's mainly dependent on the scope of the project. So it was really central to the narrative of Adeena's story that it was set in the West Midlands, and that's because with the dietetics programme in particular, Stephen and his team wanted to create a dietetics course which was bespoke to the West Midlands and actually created dietitians that works and understood the sort of very specific regional needs of the area. And so it was really fundamental in that narrative that we put together with Adeena's story that the fact that she lived in Birmingham was kind of paramount to a lot of the learning, and particularly with like when she was her experiences interacting with the healthcare system and particular challenges that exist within the local area. So in terms of this case study specifically, yes, it was very focused on the West Midlands. There is nothing to say that in future that couldn't be located elsewhere or with a different focus. But I think specifically with University College Birmingham, obviously a Birmingham-based institution, it's something that we all find important in the work that we do.
So Adeena's case study is really important. To our knowledge, it's one of the first that I'm aware of within dietetics that has that kind of content. The real authenticity of it is really powerful. So wanting to share that with colleagues is really, really important. We have a West Midlands Dietetic Practice Education Partnership, and we've already shared elements of the case study with them and are working with colleagues across the board to take this to conferences to showcase. It's really important to understand how that works and how it can improve our care that we give our patients and service users. It's something we want to showcase. It's powerful, and the students have learned so much from it that to give that out to other people to try and support them is only going to be better for our patients.
Because of Adeena's story, we're going to try and use the same format for another case study. So our next one is documenting the sensitive and complex stage of palliative care. So we're in the early stage of developing that and we're still researching. So so watch this space, I guess.
Adeena's story is a very bespoke piece of media, and all good media takes a lot of time and investment to make really well. It's a format that really works, and our students have told us that it works, which is great. And we'd like to export that to other schools and other courses. It does require investment. It does require a few hurdles to be overcome in order to be able to expand that. Primary one being, of course, money. It's good equipment, it's good people that understand how to use that equipment and how to tell those stories, working alongside subject matter experts like Stephen here and other courses. So it does require a bit of an ecosystem of equipment and people. and expertise to make it really work. And that's kind of our biggest challenge at the moment. Is we've proven that it works for Adeena's story. Now let's try and do that for other courses. Good cameras and good sort of post-production is something that we rely on a lot. So we use Adobe Suite to edit everything. And myself, Gemma, and the rest of the team are very sort of proficient in that. It's wonderful to use those kinds of really powerful tools to craft these sorts of stories. Beyond that as well, once we've actually created the media, there's the other element of the production, which is looking at how learners are actually going to access that material. And that comes, in the case of Adeena's story, in the form of RISE guides, which Gemma knows a bit more about than I do, to be honest.
At the end of Adeena's story, we had about 8 or 9 videos. So instead of just having those as separate videos that students can watch, we embedded it into a RISE guide. So what that means is students can watch it section by section. We can also, so you have the video in that section, but you also can have notes and quizzes and interactive elements that really benefit student learning as well.
I think it's also useful. So we obviously create videos which have their narratives inside them, but then we can consider what that narrative might be above those videos. So what could actually link these bits of the course together. I think that's kind of something that I certainly find really, really rewarding, not just constructing those narratives in the video itself, but looking at the whole learning experience and seeing what order and what flow students are going to be accessing these specific videos. And the other sort of opportunities for media, so photos in particular for this one. Putting that all in the RISE guide was something that just opened so many more possibilities than just creating a video.
I think it's really important as well with the RISE guides and the smaller videos is the potential for that interprofessional education. So whilst it was a case study that was focused for our MSc Dietetics course, there are certain elements of it where Adeena talks about her experiences within healthcare or the preconceptions that people have of her. We can use those resources across all of our healthcare provision and social care provision to have really meaningful conversations about pre-assumptions based on how somebody looks. Adeena is a keen sports person, climbing mountains, riding bikes. Her experiences of people assuming that she doesn't do that can be really damaging. So being able to share that across the piece with our physiotherapists, our nurses, our social care staff, really open their eyes up to be able to see things differently. I think when we plan the next one, it's looking at opportunities where we can say, okay, we're going to film this, but if we film it this way, using this type of content, we can then make it available to a much broader audience.
Most video content, I would wager, is about a numbers game in terms of how many views it gets, how many likes, clicks, etc. We sort of take a different route. We are solely focused on the quality of the material, and by design, some of our material isn't actually designed to be seen by a lot of people. It's very bespoke media, and that's why we really prioritize qualitative data over quantitative for our video content. So we will go into lectures and we'll produce digital forms for students to provide their qualitative feedback. And that, for me, is far more powerful than saying X amount of people have viewed this video. Because by design, like I said, our content is very bespoke. It's not going to apply to everyone, but for the people that it does apply to, it's going to hit every single learning objective on the head, which is the aim. In terms of our success, if we can see happy students watching our content and interacting with our content, that's kind of good enough for me. But I'm sure that from a sort of classroom perspective, it's
from an academic perspective, there are two ways of looking at it. So essentially, we want students to do well in their degree. So does this method help them achieve more in terms of their assessments? And our students will say yes, they can answer questions with a lot more detail and a lot more understanding when they know the person that they are talking to. The thing for me, and the benchmark we need to measure about, is how have we increased an individual's confidence and competence when supporting somebody in practice? it might be something that doesn't come out for a couple of years. It might be something that when they go on to their next placement, they remember Adeena's story and then adapt how they practice. And that's the thing we're looking for. We want healthcare professionals to go out and to be truly person-centered, to really ask the questions and not make assumptions based on who somebody is or who they may think they are based on their ethnicity, their lifestyle, where they live. It's getting people to say, okay, just tell me about you, and being able to adapt then based on what you know. And I really feel that this case study allows students to do that more effectively. So yeah, that's the benchmark. Can people confidently have conversations in that therapeutic environment because they've had a safe space to do that with Adeena's case study?
Future of digital learning, at least how I want it, not necessarily what I think it will be, but what I think will be the most powerful is actually bringing in artisans into digital learning development. I would like to think that digital learning will continue to be really creative, but that still requires creative people in those roles. So I think it's not necessarily about the technology that I'm most excited about. It's more what kind of people can we attract into this part of the industry. Bringing in creatives that really understand their medium and using that effectively to teach people, because their mediums, creative mediums, work well in other areas like advertising, for example. They can tell it; they're essentially telling a story. If we can attract those kinds of people over to here, we can actually leave students with such a more interesting way of learning, I think, than sort of traditional methods. So for me, that's what I think it could be the most exciting, is not necessarily the technology, which will always get better and always improve, and it always has things to look out for. But really, for me, it's about those people that you get in and using that technology that's the most exciting.
I think from a healthcare perspective, digital is really important. It's in all of our strategies. It's something we need to be working on. But I think sometimes we don't use it well, or we try to use it too much for the wrong things. What we want to try and do is create something that has a meaningful approach, and that's inclusive and accessible. We need to adapt to our students' needs, and understanding who our students are, and then adapting what we do to support them, I think is really important. We're from a university where we have a lot of students that maybe don't have access to a lot of digital resources, and digital poverty can be really, really high in quite a lot of areas that we have students come from. So this is our opportunity to embed those skills within University College Birmingham, so that we can support students in gaining those skills to be more employable. And to think creatively. We need to be the caveats and the people that help them to see where digital education can support them in their learning.
I think for myself, it was really wonderful news to hear that we won the award. It was just before Christmas, so obviously already in quite a good mood already, and then to get that on top was fantastic. I've been building up the direction that we've been going in, and Adeena's story was kind of a culmination of a lot of the skills and talents and experience that we have in the team, and to kind of have that recognised in a way, like personally, was hugely rewarding, and sort of was a bit of a payoff to a lot of hard work that not just myself but all the team have really put in. It's really, really good work, and it's so nice that it's been seen to be that as well, not just the actual end result but the entire process behind it. It was a lot of hard work and planning that went into it, so to see that be rewarded has been fantastic.
I think for Adeena's story particularly, it validates what we're doing is good. A lot of hard work and effort, particularly from Adeena and her family, went into this. So being able to tell Adeena that we'd won an award was probably one of the greatest things I've done in a long time. She was so over the moon that her story and what she was involved with has an impact. It allows us to say, actually, it was an idea, it came to fruition and it worked, and other people agree that it works. So that's really important for us.
So I think now that I think about it, another kind of really good consequence of winning the award is that it makes it a lot easier to get potential service users in front of the camera for us, because they understand that the format has got that wider recognition. It's not just some random people from a university turning up with a camera. It's it's got an award. It's got industry backing behind it. It's allows us to continue the good work that we do. And yeah, it opens up so many more doors and possibilities that we could do for future content. Adeena's story is just one of many kinds of projects that we get up to in DICE. It's something that we're always keen to talk to anyone else from the industry or in education or in production or anything like that, that might have any ideas, any inspiration, or just wants to kind of know a little bit more about what we do. I'm very passionate about not just creating great content, but showing people how we create that content. So I'm very interested to talk to anyone that might be interested in learning how we've done what we've done and may have some good ideas as to what we can do going forward. So if there's anyone that would like to get in contact with us, please email dice@ucb.ac.uk.
And if you're interested in coming on the MSc Dietetics pre-registration course, please reach out to our admissions team and have a look at our website, because we would love to have you join us.